So one thing that I would like to know is that for all of you, poker is probably not the first thing that little girls are enculturated to play. What got you interested in the game, and did you feel that you were breaking out of a mold when you did that? You were kind of like, you know, I'm not sure anybody expects me to do this.
Well, for me, I grew up playing card games. My grandfather taught me bridge. That was probably the first strategic, competitive, challenging card game that I picked up, and I found that to be not only fun, but I just really thought that the entire process of learning the game and then getting to play in a social setting and then playing in a competitive setting, all of those things were so intriguing to me. And in college was when I discovered poker through guy friends that were just playing a home game in their dorm room. And when I showed up at the casino like a week or two after playing this home game, that's when I realized that, I mean, A, I'm not good at poker at this point at all, but B, that there weren't a lot of women in poker. So I knew that at that point, that definitely piqued my interest even more, because I've always been someone to go against the grain, and I've always been somebody who feel like if there's a personal challenge or if there's some kind of ceiling, I want to be the person to break that. So I felt that definitely attracted me to poker, and since then, obviously, it's not a conventional career choice for anybody, let alone a woman, but since then I've found that it's been very personally rewarding for me to find success in this game, but not only because I'm a woman in poker, but mostly just because this game is honestly such an amazing game. It's so challenging. There's no, you know, you'll never be able to master this game. The strategies are constantly evolving, and so you can never get complacent, and that's what I love about it, is I can never just sit and coast and feel like I know everything there is to know about poker. I feel like I have to always stay on top of, you know, what the trends are strategically, and that I always have to be playing and I always have to be practicing, and I think that that's an amazing part of this game that makes it so that it'll never get old for me, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to it.
Is bridge or poker more complex?
Oh, poker's definitely more complex, but I don't know, I have a emotional affinity for bridge because of the tie to my grandfather, and if we could make the kind of money in bridge that we can make in poker, I'd be bridge like all the way.
I grew up always loving video games, and when I was in high school and I should be studying, I was playing video games, you know, till 5-6 a.m. in the morning. I was into Heroes of Might and Magic. I did Dota, a lot of Warcraft, and played Sims, like anything that you can name, I played, and then I found poker. And it was another game that I actually started playing a lot online as well. To me, it was very similar to video games, except you're playing against like real people, and a whole table of them. And to me, it was just against so many players. And you know, back then I started with limit hold'em, then I went on to sit and goes, and I went to multi-table tournaments, and there's so many variations of poker. It's always changing. So for me, video games was like, okay, once you're finished with the video game, you're kind of done with it, and you know, move on to the next game. But with poker, I've been in love with it for like 10 years straight, and you know, once, you know, if you get sick of no limit hold'em, there is, you know, tournaments that you can play. There is sit and goes, there is cash games you can play, and then otherwise you can play stud, Omaha, and you know, Badoogie, so forth. And yesterday I played Win the Button, my first Win the Button tournament, and I managed to cash. So I'm a fan of Win the Button tournament now, and I'll be playing a lot more of those in the future as well.
I want to touch on something that you mentioned. No limit hold'em is, you could be forgiven for thinking it's the only kind of poker exists. Are any of you guys playing other kinds of poker actively, and what do you think that we can do? Oh God, we love our microphones. Do you think that there is hope? Testing one. Do you think that there's hope for some other kind of game to for some other kinds of games to get some prominence?
I think, the reason that, No Limit Hold'em is so popular is obviously because of all the TV broadcasting, and it's really the simplest in terms of just the rules, like to understand and to be able from a viewer perspective. But, most poker players kind of dabble in everything. I personally play a lot of 8-game, and so that's, I guess if you don't know, it's horse, it's Hold'em, Omaha, Raz, Stud, and Stud 8 or better, plus No Limit Hold'em, Parliament Omaha, and Triple Draw. So that's kind of my favorite, and I actually really like the non-Hold'em games, like maybe better, if that's possible. I find them really enjoyable, maybe because I'm just doing them so infrequently. And what's really cool, especially about these PokerStars Championship Series, is that there's tournaments, I love coming here, and you can play kind of any kind of tournament, and that's really enjoyable. I mean, the thing is, especially if you're a pro, but even if you're, someone that's a recreational player that wants to compete for a really big prize pool, unfortunately, that's usually going to be No Limit Hold'em. Or not unfortunately, but I mean, you're usually going to find yourself playing No Limit, but, you were talking, I think it's really cool because the other games are so cool because, oftentimes it can get a little bit, maybe you want a change or something, and to be able to jump into a different tournament, maybe it's not as big, but it's a different kind of mental challenge. I think that's really fun.
Well, if you play other games, like my good friend Lex Veldhuis, he's Brazi online, when he started playing PLO, more and more, he's like, dude, I'm so much better at No Limit Hold'em now too, because it makes you think in different way, different ranges. So it's really good to just dive into it and try, and it's a lot of fun, like you said. Well, Celina, you like various games all the time. Do you still play video games as well all the time?
I actually recently played Overcooked. It's like a cooking game, and you work with a cooperative, right? So you go random lettuce, cream, burgers.
Well done. So, I'm not into that yet,
yes.
But Overcooked.
Liv, I want to ask you about, with your physics background, do you find the math of poker easier? Do you find it interesting, et cetera, et cetera?
Having a physics background obviously makes doing other forms of math or analytics that little bit easier, but it's definitely by no means essential. I'd like to think if I hadn't studied that, I still would have been able to handle the maths in poker. In terms of what I found sort of the biggest transferable skill is actually sort of the scientific method itself. This process of being you do an action and then you get an outcome, and then figuring out, was my action actually the best outcome? Why did that happen? Sort of isolating all the possible variables, not being just, looking at results and going, well, I won this hand and I lost this hand, so that must be the right way. Actually going, no, was my methodology correct? And sort of similarly, learning to experiment. Science is all about being understanding the experimentation process. And that's so important in poker, trying out different strategies, figuring out, are they right, were they wrong, was I just implementing the wrong way, that kind of thing. So having that sort of, building that mindset that's, sort of eliminates bias as much as possible from my methodology and from the way I try and play my poker.
How do you, because I think for quite a few people that might be a little abstract, your methodology, how a lot of people don't know how to get from point A to point B, and what steps are in between that for you? How did you just talk to friends, or what do you do?
Mostly, actually, yeah. I'm very lucky. I've sort of got a good group of people who are very, very smart poker minds around me, and so I'll have a couple of hands, I'll write them down, and then I'll talk to them about the hand, and they're like, okay, wait, let's take it back. Let's actually, what were you thinking here? What were the hands that, what were the range of hands you were putting them on? Name those hands, speak those hands out loud. Okay, now try to assign probabilities to those, that kind of thing. So yeah, talking to friends, surrounding yourself by people who are better than you, clearly much better than you, and is, if you can, that's the best resource you can have. Other than that, using sort of analytics programs, there's a ton of them out there now, analytics is very, very good. similarly, there's just a wealth of information out there.
Oh, just the look in your eyes that shine so bright. Reach out over the ocean waves and try to come to life.